Good morning, everybody. Oh, I was going to say everyone, and then I got stuck on everybody. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. We are so sorry that we are 5 minutes late. The irony is that we were both perfectly, beautifully early today. And then we got to talking and we were catching up and chatting because we haven't been able to catch up as much as we normally do. So we apologize for that. So good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is election day. So hopefully you are going out to vote. Let's rock the vote. Viva vote. And hopefully you're enjoying your morning after our time change and getting used to all of that. And welcome. I am the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, part of the fabulous duo that is Viva Cafe con Leche. And I'm coming to you from a now chilly Southern Connecticut, where the last few days we have had the most spectacular weather, 75, 70, and sunny. It was just fantastic. And although it is sunny today, it is chilly, but 55 still in November, still good. So happy to be here.
Good morning, good morning. Buenos días, mi gente. Aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru. I am stuffy. And the sun's rising beautifully today here in Tampa, Florida. And yes, I heard it was beautiful out there the last couple days in the 70s. Hola, Milagros Medina, mi amor. And happy to be here this beautiful beginning of the week, Tuesday morning. Tuesday, because it's a beautiful morning.
Oh, you haven't sang that in quite some time.
And I'm feeling very not in my me voice. So yes, I hope everybody had a great weekend. And for those of you who are going to vote, those of you who voted ballot through the mail, and those of you who choose not to,
It is your choice. That's correct. It is absolutely. That's the beauty of this country. It's your choice.
It's your choice. Yes. So don't let anyone tell you anyway.
Christy, look at Christy's on. Christy Sullivan is in the house. We had Christy on as a fabulous guest. Christy is the cutest thing ever, I swear. And she says, I'm a role model in human design. Does that count? Of course. Of course, but she brought that out because we're going to be talking about role models today. So welcome to the show this morning. It's going to be a fabulous conversation. So we're going to get to that in a moment, and we're going to touch on your specific comment as well, Christy. So thank you for jumping on. Gladiator Guru, how are you feeling? I know you got a little cold going on. I had one a few days ago where everything's going through. My parents are extremely sick. Like they're actually getting worse. And they've had it now for like about a week. So it's a little concerning. But how you feeling? Is helping you?
This is typical weather. First of all, around this time, whether you're around people or not, the body, once it gets used to being, I guess, the change, the little things that we as humans miss out of Mother Nature. And it's the change of everything, the pollen, the birds, all of that changes when it gets to this time of the year. So I'm not going to fight Mother Nature because she always wins. But aside from that, it's November. It's my birthday month. Yes. It's Thanksgiving month. I'm feeling very confident in the woman that I am and in the decisions that I'm making. And I think it's a beautiful thing when you feel that, although you can't control the common code that no one can ever really understand, right?
Good old rhinovirus.
The trajectory of your life and accept the losses that leads to the wins at the end of it, and accept the I don't know if this is going to work out, but I'm going to do it anyway type of deal. I think that's a beautiful life, and we got to remember those strengths within us, is to accept that changes are going to happen. You either roll with it or you stay behind, stuck in self-doubt. So I can start off with my role model is Margarita because I've always been there for me. And we'll go into that. So I did like Christie's in human design. Yes, humanity. And if we remember that we're supposed to be in service to humanity, that's the sole purpose of our birth, of our heartbeat, wouldn't it be a whole different world?
I would say so, because we'd have a different purpose and we'd not be so self-centered. And um yeah, it would be a completely different place. You know, we're designed that way. We are humans are designed to be, we're we're a group. We're a group. We are a community. We're a herd of people. And when you get people to understand that, yes, we can do things on our own. We're very independent, but that's one strength. But then when we can work together as a group and help each other, that's another strength. You can't build a city with one person. You can create the idea of the city, but you can't build it without the other people. And role models play that part. And we're going to talk about, we're getting into more detail about role models. And
Well, you just touched on something. You said we're a herd. And if you look up what's a herd, you know that there's always a shepherd that guides them. Some might go off a little bit and nibble on some grass there, but then the herd's up front, and then you got the little dogs keeping them in line. And people feel that they're lost in life, right? Because there's no shepherd guiding the herd, but there really is. My shepherd, if you believe in God and in Jesus Christ, He is our shepherd. Just because we don't see him, I'm sure the back of the herd, those goats don't see the shepherd guiding them with his staff, but they know that they're there and this is the way they got to go because they trust in the process that the path is going to lead them to greater pastures. And if we were to, although we can't see the shepherd, but we know that he is there guiding us, and that's the word, how unlost would we be? How secure to know that our path has always been enlightened and that our purpose has always been to do exactly what we were born to do, but then we take side roads and then we complain that life is unfair. Life is life,
life is life.
you know?
Hmm.
Good morning, Iritza. Good morning, Marina.
Good morning to you both. What are you drinking this morning, Gladiator Guru?
Today I'm drinking Bustelo because
Bustelo.
yesterday, well, last night I kind of like lost my sense of taste and smell. So I made Bustelo today and I smelled it a little, but I can taste it. So that's always a good sign.
Yeah, it really stinks to get those. It's so funny. The minute you said lost my taste and smell, it's like because of how we're trained, I immediately went to, oh my God. And then I went, wait a minute, wait a minute. We tend to lose our smell anyway and our taste when we have a stuffy nose. So
Yeah.
calm it down. And I feel you because that's what was going on with me. I went from, inflamed nasal passages to a full blown, infection. And it really just sucks, man. It sucks. I was getting so tired of breathing out of my mouth and my throat was getting all dry. And then I would start coughing when I was talking. And, but I'm feeling better. And I know you will
Good.
feel better soon.
Well, no. As far as my nose is stuffy now, maybe because I'm sitting up. But you know me, I pack on the Vicks when I go to bed, behind the ears, in the ears with cotton balls, up my nose, and I haven't had difficulty breathing while I sleep. And then the sage tea and all of that kind of stuff, the hot water. So all of that really helps.
All
So
right. I'm glad. And you are the VIX person. You're always every time she and I talk, I'm talking about the kids or something that's going on. She's like, "Did you put the VIX on it?"
Ponte Vicks, Ponte Vicks.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, listen, everybody, if you would please like, share, follow, subscribe, we would love, love, love that and appreciate that. Thank you so much. Remember, we have a theme this month. It is November, and our theme this month is we're celebrating National Gratitude Month, and we're also celebrating National Inspirational Role Model Month. So we're going to be intertwining those back and forth, back and forth. Last week was all about gratitude. We gave you the Viva 30-day gratitude challenge. We hope that you are still doing that every day, thinking about, five things that, at least five things that you're grateful for, picking out at least three people and saying to them that you are grateful to them, and then doing random acts of kindness. So we hope that you've been doing that all along. And we're going to set our intention. We're going to do our mantra. And then today we're going to be talking about inspirational role models. We're going to start talking about what that means, who our role models are. And then on Thursday, we're going to have an inspirational role model on. So don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe. So here we go. Oops, what did I do? How did I get that out? Okay. Set our intention. I forgot what I was going to do for a second.
I'm
All right.
waiting on you.
Oh my gosh. We set our intention to be intentional every day. So whatever your intention is, you set it, but just make sure that you set it anytime, as many times as you need to today. Be intentional.
And grateful. Be grateful that
How
you
would they
woke
do
up.
that during the day? What would they, so they set their intention, and then what do you suggest with their gratitude piece?
Well, gratitude, many different people are different things to be grateful for, but it all ends up with the same thing: that you open your eyes, that you can rise out of bed, that you have a purpose, go to work or take care of your home. The gratitude of knowing that you can dance to the beat of your heart. That you can dance, get up and physically dance to the beat of your heart. What better conga beat is it? There's none.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga.
That simple things that we overlook because they don't have a name brand logo on it, or because it doesn't have 5,000 followers on it. People, let's get back to the basics. Be grateful that you can smell the coffee brewing, that you have coffee to brew, even if I'm just using that because I know that milagros don't drink coffee. But it's the little things in life that you can actually, or that you actually have incorporated into your life. Like everybody has routine when they rise in the morning. What if, be grateful for the toothbrush, the toothpaste. Gratitude starts with a mustard seed.
Mm-hmm.
So be grateful for who you are, and be grateful for the challenges you have placed upon yourself. To be grateful for five things and everything else the badass Buddha just mentioned. That 30-day gratitude challenge. Be grateful that you can even form thoughts to say, I'm going to do this, because you know what? It is as simple. It is as simple as rising up every morning.
Yay. Oh, all right. Here we do. Let's go do our mantra. Let's wake it up. Say it loud, say it proud. Here we go, tribe. I am a disruptor. You're not gonna
I'm a
follow.
disruptor.
I look forward to you following. All right. I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I am beyond authentic.
And I keep it real.
Yes, you do. All right. Role models. I'm not sure if Christy's still on, but so Christy jumped on before. She was a guest before. She's just this lovely, cute, adorable, phenomenal little soul. Not a little soul. She's a big soul. And she put, I'm a role model in human design. Does that count? So that's what she's a coach in human design. And I have another friend too that's a coach in human design too, Nicolette, who's also been a guest on there, but not as a human design coach. Yes, because role models, the definition is a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. That's what a role model is, period. Okay. Anyone could be a role model. In our Western culture, often publicly visible figures like athletes, actors, musicians, and celebrities tend to be the role models, influencers. Okay. But it could be a parent, it could be teachers, bosses, grandparents, aunts, uncles. Generally, our role models are people that we tend to look up to, meaning like age plays a little part of it. So a lot of times we tend to look at people that were older or have passed, but that doesn't mean even at our age, we can't look at somebody younger. Like, I think Lady Gaga is an incredible role model. I think she lives her truth. Um, she's younger than me, and I think she's a phenomenal role model. I think that Mala Yousafzai is also an incredible role model, right? So we we identify role models based on our values and what we want in life. So we will always follow suit with individuals. We'll be attracted to the people and feel that they're role models because we identify and align with them. So in other words, there might be people that I don't agree with, that they don't align with my values, and I don't necessarily view them as a role model. There might be partial, there might be some parts of them that I like, but for me, I look at a much bigger package. And for me, it could be a person of any age, it could be a person of any background, any gender, and they don't have to be famous. They could be famous. And I pick my list. And in fact, maybe that would be a nice thing for us to consider doing this week is maybe jot down, pick 5 people that you feel are role models to you. Good morning, Gail Craft is in the house. Look at Gail's here.
Morning, Gwen, and good morning, Gail. You see, I think if I'm gonna pick a celebrity to be a role model, I would pick Keanu Reeves. Um, he has been written about on many forums, many regular people that have written about him, that have run into him on the subways. He's as down to earth as you can possibly be. He is a service of humanity. He rides the subways. He eats from hot dog stands. He donates his money to the people working costumes on his thing. If I had to pick a celebrity, I would go with Keanu Reeves as that. And then, as far as a role model who walks in his truth and is not afraid to lose everything to speak truths and the research that has been done, I would have to say that's Kanye. I love the fact that Kanye is speaking out and has lost all his contracts and still walks in his truth and is not afraid who's going to fall off from his tree.
Yeah.
And whether people deem him to be correct or not, he is still walking in his truth, which is the operative word here. Not the truth I deem right or how they're pinning him to be crazy, but somebody who has awakened. Now, how many of us talk about enlightenment and want to be awake and woke? But yet when we see and listen to somebody who has reached the point where we pretend we want to be, and again we criticize and judge when discernment should be used. So I think that's where we have to look at, not to judge somebody who has awakened to his truth, because we all carry a truth. And I think that it's something to be a role model of. Not that you have to agree with him, but the sole fact that he is willing to stand up alone in his truth and lose all monetary people, places, and things to stand in his truth is something that I value in a person. That's a role model to me. I can't say I disagree with him, because unless I do my own research on what he's saying, who am I, who are you, badass Buddha, to judge somebody on what they're standing up for when we're listening to what other people are saying about him and not researching what he's saying to seek the truth in us, to listen to see if he's speaking the truth. So that's my role. Those 2 are my role models. Keanu for always. And right now, I am fascinated with people who stand up for what they believe in. I don't have to know them from Adam. I don't have nothing. But the fact that somebody is being true to their core is a role model for me.
I love that.
Because a lot of people walk around talking about enlightenment. I'm on my way to enlightenment. I'm woke. I want to awaken. People are asleep. And you are so busy judging somebody who you can clearly see has elevated from material things just because you don't understand what he's saying. See, people say, I don't agree with what he's saying, but tell me this, do you understand what he's saying? Again, discernment. And pick a person as a role model who actually walks in discernment, because then that helps you come back to your human design self. Because if not, then all you're doing is regurgitating information you're hearing and repeating it as a person who is sabia, a person of wisdom. So look for um, a role model that your spirit calls to. And we might be five people with different five role models that we're all looking at the same people, but that's fine because we are individuals. So we get to choose who empties the negativity and who fills us with a truth for us to follow.
Oh, you froze. I don't know if
Or
you're still
drop
talking.
judgment, but absolutely. Yeah, I'm
There
here.
you well, you got okay, you froze for a second, at least on my end. Maybe you didn't freeze. Oh yeah, you did online.
So
Um,
yeah, so exactly, Gail. You know, a lot of people, and I'm gonna give you one example to be grateful for, and to have gratitude and carry kindness in your heart. And one example is because there's been people that have gotten into fights and arguments. If I'm walking towards a door and I go to reach and open this door, and I see three people coming out, I'm gonna hold that door open. Three
mhm,
people are gonna walk out. I chose to hold that door open. I could have stepped aside and let them come out and then I walk in. I
mhm.
chose. So there's no expectations that these people need to say thank you to me, because that was my choice to hold the door open because I was going in anyway. So when you do that, you're doing that out of kindness, out of gratitude that you have the strength to hold the door open, out of the human servitude of seeing people walking out of the place you are walking into. You get to the door first, you hold it open, these people go through. There should be no expectations that these people need to say thank you or even acknowledge you. And if they do, that's a bonus. But there's so many people. Oh, look at that. Can't say thank you. Why should I? I didn't ask you to hold it open. It's just certain things like that. Don't do anything with an expectation that somebody has to do something in return. That's how
That's
you
a
live in gratitude as
that's a
well.
great definition of a role model for me. You're a role model for me. I have a lot of role models. Like there's so many. I agree with you with Keanu Reeves. And Keanu, if you're listening, call me baby, because I'll date you any day of the year.
I love his
Um,
rugged look. I love that he's
oh, I've
dyslexic.
always thought he was hot, but I've always loved him. I've always loved his calmness. Even in the movies, he's got the same type of demeanor in the movies that looks like that's how he is in real life. But for me, it's definitely anyone that inspires me to be a better person is to me is a fabulous role model. And I look back, or step back, and discernment is that the key word, right? Because that's why you're a role model to me. That's
And
something that
discernment leads you
represented
to
to me.
live in a
And
life of gratitude.
it allows you to step back and observe and then still have an opinion. You still can have an opinion, but it's more uh thought out and felt,
Yes.
and I love that because you're the one that sort of put that word, well, not sort of, you're the one that put that word out to me just like months ago.
It's
And
judging wisely.
yes, I would say that. That's a good way to say that. So I have found that there have been people that have reached out to me, with all the various platforms that I'm on, and have praised me, and they have had said, we appreciate what you do. And sometimes it's hard for me to receive it. Sometimes I'm grateful for it. I just sometimes I have to deal with my own shit receiving it. But um I've had a couple of people get annoyed with me because they were not happy with what I said, or something that they thought I should have done, or expectations or whatever, to the point where I had to step back, and a lot of stuff came up for me with that. And then I realized that being a role model, I don't mind taking on that, like if my goal in life is to be a phenomenal role model for my children. That's my goal in life. To not that's my main goal for being a role model, is my children, and then everybody else. I want to be a positive, I want to be something positive for the world, right? So, but it comes with a lot of responsibility, and I think that's where the difference between individuals who um, take on the role of being a role model, where the other ones walk in their truth, but they don't give a shit about, they don't look at it that way. Like, I always say to myself that because we do idolize athletes, we idolize celebrities, it's just the way it is in Western culture. It is a responsibility. And some of them don't want it. And some of them are like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't care what my responsibility is, But there's so many people that look up to them that they are watched, and maybe it is a lot of pressure. But when you behave a certain way, and if you're okay with behaving that way, that's fine. That's fine. But you also have to be on, you also have to look at the bigger picture and say, okay, my behavior is this way. This is my truth. I'm walking in my truth. That's great. But be accountable to it, though. You know what I mean? Like, some of them will behave a certain way, and then they'll backtrack and try to make it sound like they didn't mean it, or they're like, they behave even worse to cover it up. I don't know. But I look at it and say, I wish in some ways that we all would take better responsibility for that position, that influence that we tend to have over other people, so that everybody will behave themselves. Like, if somebody's an asshole and they come across as that way, and they really don't care, and they're a role model for somebody, that behavior is going to be repeated. So for me, I think it's a big, huge responsibility to be a role model, but
Well,
it is also,
do you
but it,
think you set out? I think when you walk in your truth and you're true to who you are, whether you're 50% namaste or 50% go fuck yourself, I don't, that's where people look up to you for who you are, for how you speak. Yeah, there's really no great responsibility, because then if you take everything into consideration, then you're not genuine, because that means you got to be this for this person and that for that person. I think a true role model walks in
right.
his truth, and the energy and the aura that he sets out is what attracts people. Athletes behaving and rappers behaving the way they do, yeah, I mean, people have to, those are kids. um I can tell you, I've always walked in my truth. I've always spoke my truth. I am who I am across every platform that I'm on. I don't take on a responsibility to have people like me. I let them know who I am from the jump, so that there's any misinterpretation, it's on their part of what their expectation of how I should be. You get it?
Yep.
I am who I am. There's only one of me, just like my fingerprints. Now, you and I met, I let you know how I was up front. Now, if you were ticked off by me or anything, that's an expectation you placed upon me.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, being a role model isn't a job, it isn't pressure, it isn't anything. It's being who the hell you are in your truest form, speaking and walking in your truth, whether people agree with you or not. And then leave it up to them. If they have expectation of you, guess what? It's easier to sever the ties with those people, because I'm gonna tell you something. My daughter called me the other day, and then you said that because I totally forgot, but she called me the other day out of the blue, and she says, "Mom, Henny and I were cleaning something, and we found something, and I thought you should see it. I don't think it's here." But anyway, Anaya had a thing for college. She had to write something that she was inspired by, and so Tiffany sent me the project she did, and it starts off. The first line was all about me, like my abuela, in parentheses, grandmother Margarita, and she goes on to talk about my life and what I have accomplished and just how I am to sit across the table from and speak to. Let me tell you something. I'm not embarrassed to say that, because this is a granddaughter writing for her college assignment, something like that. And you know what? I curse like a salty sailor. When I get pissed, I am hellfire. They've seen me on throughout their lives. They see me go off on somebody. They seen me drop to the floor and grab somebody and cuddle them into my arms that were having a hard time. So they've seen me in all shapes and forms. And I think when you choose, when you elect yourself, or when you want to walk that path to be a role model, you have to be, and I'm using your word, as authentic as you can be, as the snow falling.
Yeah.
That's how authentic you got to be for yourself. And as you walk, then the path paves itself where you're inspiring and empowering other people around you. If you try to be a role model and you set up all these, well, I'm not going to say this because I don't want people to get upset with me, then you're not being real. You're not walking in your truth.
That's
You're going to
correct.
be filled
Right.
with anxiety. You're going to be angry with yourself. You're going to not even realize that you're in this wormhole of, well, I did this, and how come they're not liking me? These expectations and assumptions, how you should be welcomed everywhere you go. You know what? Take off that dress and walk naked for a while, and learn who the hell you are, and walk in your truth and become a role model, because you're wearing your scars proudly, because you've been somewhere and you came back and you can share that with people, and that's how you help people. And you know what? Lori and I met what, twice? Twice, like really spent time together twice before I said, Lori, do you want to do Viva Cafe con Leche with me?
No, it was more than that.
You sure? I thought it was
Yeah.
the who's that?
No, because remember when you were here taking care of your mother, we would meet up for lunch. We kept
Yeah, but two times that we really conversed was when we drove to Manhattan, right?
Well, yeah, when we drove to Manhattan.
Yeah, okay.
But
So we met a couple times, but like I'd say two that really impacted me with you. And then we came on to do this. Why? Because you were so authentic in yourself. And I value people who are true to who they
it
are.
took me a
I
long
don't
time to get to be that way.
I don't care what name brand you wear, how big your house is, what car you drive. That's neither here nor there with me. Why? Because I look for something that's innate in each and every one of us. And a lot of people don't take the time out to learn that about themselves. So they walk around hectic. They walk around pretending to be something they're not. And you know what? You don't need to wear rose-colored glasses. You can feel that energy and say, I'm not wasting my time, and I won't waste my time. And it's not saying you're not worthy, but my time is more precious. And that's how you walk around. And you know what? Jesus was a great role model. How many? It's like, aside from his 12 disciples, it's like everyone else was against him, but he still stood up and he spoke. And he carried his own damn cross. And he fell and he got back up and he continued to carry that cross to his execution. And if we all follow those simple ways of living, then we are living in our truth. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Carry on, badass Buddha.
I definitely agree with everything that you said. And good morning, Wanda. I just wanted to say hi to Wanda.
Hey, Wanda.
And I love what Gail wrote. I believe that the role failure is when role models are putting forward a false face, and when the masks fall off, the ripple impact.
Absolutely, Gail.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And those are the main people who call themselves authentic. That's why I hate
Yes.
that word. That word is thrown around like period panties, just thrown in the corner. They're not even folded after they're washed,
Visual.
because they're period panties, right? And so people walk around with like a peacock. I'm authentic. And I'm like, sit the hell down. I'm in the wrong circus. And I don't, because you know what? My time is valuable. And what is time to people? A lot of people have different things of time. They look at a clock and they evaluate their lives by that time. Not me. I go by my inner clock. So I'm never late. You're just early because you're going by a false God, which is a clock with hands telling you and controlling your life. People believe that. That's fine. I'm walking my truth. I really don't care for that. All I know is systemically now. I was going to bed last night. I'm like, Viva, I just set my alarm clock and I get up after the third snooze. third or fourth. I'm still getting up on my time. You see? So just be true. True. Walk in your truth. That's all you have to do. Arlene and Darlene Kelly, good morning. Because if not, then who are you? That's why people walk around being all these life coaches with all this spirituality, mind setting, and everything. Then you listen to their talk and you're like, ugh, plop, change the channel.
Well, and I think that's part of the idea of a role model anyway, is that when a person decides that they look up to somebody, some people put them on a pedestal. They're like, oh my God, they idolize them. I've never been that person. I've never been that person. I've met plenty of famous people in my lifetime, even as a teenager, and never was awestruck. I mean, I'm sure there would be some people that I might be just taken back a little bit because I really, really like them. But I've never been awestruck like that. And I've had conversations with them like a regular person. And I will admit that there was an expectation of judgment in the sense of, let me see how these people engage with me. Let's see how, kind they are. And if they're kind of arrogant, then I don't want to be around that person. It's a judgment, but that's how I look at it, because your truth is your truth, whether you're famous or not. Right. And just because they don't want to be bothered doesn't mean they're arrogant. They just might not want to be bothered, but they don't have to be an asshole or rude, whatever. But that's me. So I started to create role models. And then I took the qualities that I really liked about those role models and looked at it within myself to say, are those the qualities that I want to possess? I'm not making myself up based on them. What I'm doing is making myself up and using the role model as they are to be used for, is to inspire you to be better or a different person. And so with that, then I had to look at my values, and I had to ask myself who I am, and who am I now, and who do I want to be. And like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Like, Oprah Winfrey is a role model to me. She's a role model to a lot of people. I don't agree with everything that comes out of Oprah's mouth. In fact, she's pissed me off more than once because we clash with certain things. Not that I need to tell her that, nor does she really care. But what I look at her as a role model is the bar that she set for women in general in business. Like, the she does to me appear to be pretty real. But again, that's my opinion. But she sets a tone for even like how she does things. I like that. I don't know her in detail. She could be a horrible boss. I don't know. She might be an asshole. But what I see is what I want to set. So I see her as being not only a great entrepreneur, but also somebody who's more mindful. And even if that's true or not, it doesn't matter, because that's what I want to be. So I mirror that in that sense and say, I want to be a mindful leader. I want to create something that's spectacular. I want to make a difference in the world, as she does with a lot of her charities. So I look at these people and I pick and choose. Like, I like Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is a big role model for me. I love what he has done. I love the statements that he makes. I love what he represents. The Rock is a role model for me. John Cena is a role model for me. I gravitate towards people who are generous, like philanthropy, who are not judgmental necessarily. Like, they open themselves up to any and all ideas, maybe they are, but what I'm seeing. And so that's how I look at it. I want a role model that's kind and compassionate, but also very realistic and straightforward. And then that's what I choose to be. And then from there, I hope that's what I put out to people. And then when I feel like maybe I'm not being my true self at any given moment, I have to take that step back. I become aware of it. I take that step back and say, okay, why am I feeling this way? What is it that I'm doing or saying that's making me feel that I'm not being authentic? What can I do about it? Why did I, if I am being that way, why did I feel that way? And it's because of the influences in my life, all of the people in my life that have been role models, that have played role models. And it could be as silly as, for me, sometimes it could even be a character in a movie. Just their behavior was inspiring to me. And I'm going to give you one that sounds so silly, right? And it was funny because I've always felt this way. It was on the other day and I was watching the movie Pretty Woman. And there's a scene where, well, actually, it was multiple scenes where Richard Gere's character, who's extraordinarily wealthy, he chooses to speak to, with the exception of the manager of the hotel, which he gets better with, but most other people he speaks to that are beneath him, like as far as financially, or at a level like where they're like a subordinate, like an employee, he speaks very respectfully to them. He's calm, he's respectful. Now, it's a character, but I looked at that and I said, I like that though. Like, that's inspiring to me. It's inspiring to be able to be kind. I saw a clip of, remember the movie with Michael Jackson? It came out, I think, after he died. It was showing like how he was prepping for his tour. They showed this one scene where he's auditioning dancers. And rather than being a prick, like most people who do, like that are looking for, watching auditions, a lot of them could be really cruel and mean to the people who are auditioning. He was very kind. He was constructive. He would say what he saw and what he was hoping for. But he did it in such a manner that was, I just watched that piece of it and I was like, that's really, really nice. That's nice. That's inspiring. That's, to me, is a really cool role model. That's the person that I want to strive for. And again, he might have been at that 1 minute, might have been because they were filming. Who the hell knows? But I looked at that and said, it doesn't matter to me if that's real or not like for him. What matters to me is how it made me feel and what I want to do with that information. So that's the other piece here. With, you could choose whoever you want as a role model. My dad was a role model to me for my whole life. My dad was not perfect, and nobody is. My dad, and I had some challenges, but there were parts of my dad, like my dad, a lot of people don't realize my dad was a huge, he loved to volunteer his time. You know, he would volunteer for the Special Olympics. He volunteered to read and help with reading and math to kids in the Bridgeport schools, elementary schools. He did it for years.
Yeah, I was a read aloud person for years in the British. I love it. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. And you're right. Keanu reads forever. Kanye West, power to the people. I'm right there. But my other celebrity role model, person that I've always loved, and anyone who's on here who knows me can confirm that immediately, is Cher. Cher
Yes,
was
I
ahead
know.
of her times in the 60s and 70s. Cher didn't give a shit who liked her, who didn't like her, who wanted to
Yes.
be her friend. She preferred to walk alone, which is what I love. I go anywhere. Wherever I have to go, I don't have no fears in going alone. And even to this day, she's beautiful. People criticize her. She said, not your business of what I had done. And she's absolutely right. She's not
Listen,
hiding or
for for
denying.
for people that have had plastic surgery, her surgeon, she's been having it for years and she was always open about it.
Amazing.
She looks phenomenal. Like, even with all the work that she's had done, some of them, they get one work done and they look terrible. They don't even look like themselves. She's just spectacular looking. I agree
But I
with you.
love the way she's candid. She
Yeah.
does the way she speaks. I've always loved her since my teenage years. And I just saw an interview with her, and I just think she's phenomenal. And I think, you know what? And role models, as you said, Badass Buddha, they come in all shapes, sizes, and age. Because I can look at my granddaughter, and she serves as a good role model for how she is. And you know what? When I raised my kids and speaking to my grandkids, the biggest thing I shared with them that I learned from my biggest role model, which was my alcoholic father, He is the gardener of our roots. He planted all these seeds of wisdom, these little one-line sayings, which today it's like we're in full blossom. Is, you know what? Carry your moral compass with you everywhere you go. This way, you don't get sidetracked by people who make you feel bad and then you agree with them just so you don't get left out. Don't be that person. Please. That's so ugly in a person who is indecisive and who just follows the masses because they don't want to be left out or disliked. If you find yourself that you're doing that sometimes, hold yourself, look in the mirror, have a conversation. Write down what are your good qualities, what are your strengths. Don't ask people, just try to figure it out there. And if you can't come up with anything, ask your close people that are going to be honest, sometimes brutally honest, because sometimes to wake the fuck up, you need somebody to be brutally honest with you,
Yes.
because
Yep.
you think you're doing right by following the masses, by wanting to be liked by this person, to be on this person's podcast, to be get these much likes. Guess what? You lose yourself. And those people are just going to feed you bullshit lines to keep you right where they want you to be. So go ask somebody who's going to be brutally honest that you haven't spoke to in a while, because they always call you out on your shit and you just don't like that. If you can't make your own list of what your strengths and what your buildup needs to be, go to somebody who's going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. And that's how you start the path to becoming the person you're going to fall in love with. And as you're doing that, the light's going to be shining so bright on you that people are going to be watching. And that's how you become a role model. Not by what you say or do on purpose, but by who the hell you are, with your aura, with the energy your aura sends out, the way your spirit dances every time you laugh. That's being a great role model, because you're not filling the ear with useless words. And you're not dressing like the person you just met because they look good. So maybe I want to look good like them. Be real, be authentic, never lie to yourself. And you know what's being popular? What's having 5,000 followers? I don't give a shit. I've had my YouTube. People ask me all the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm on YouTube, Margarita. Moments con Margarita. But I never remind people. I'm still not at
Neither
100,
do I. I haven't even hit 100
and I can easily
on
be there
my own channel.
I can easily be there, but I want people to find me on their own. So I'll refresh my thing whenever I think about it, and I talk about it sometimes. But I'm not interested in who likes me. I'm interested on what, when I walk in a room, what effect is that person going to gain from me? And half the time, if I walk in a room, I am scanning the room. I'm reading body language. And my first thought is, do I want to be here? Am I wasting my time? Are these people going to suck my energy? Why? Because I am the most important person in my life. So I know when I walk in a place, if I'm not comfortable, I don't care who has influence in there. I'm not staying, because I got to protect my energy at all costs. And remember, we've had many shows on this. Don't be a Captain Save-A-Hole. If you find yourself in that situation and it makes you feel good, it's only temporary. That's the truth. If you want to hear truths, call me. It's temporary. Don't be a people pleaser, because then you become a doormat.
Yes.
Be who you are, whether you got friends or not. You don't need friends today. You're still finding out who the hell you are. Discover who you are, and people will come. Like they say, the Romans say, build it, they will come. Build your self-esteem, your self-trust. Swim in that self-love, and people will come. The people who you need in your life, or you will be guided towards your tribe that have also done the work. At the end of the day, it's not what celebrity you follow, not what popular podcast is out there. It's not anyone around you, your family, friends, or whatever, co-workers. It's none of them. It's you. At the end of the day, it begins and it ends with you. So look in the mirror and be your own motherfucking role model. I love you, girl. Girl, we had a hard day today. Well, let me get that wine. Talk to yourself if that's what you have. Get to know yourself. the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's how you go to by removing things that you unnecessarily added on thinking it was going to cover something. They're facades. And you cannot walk in your truth and hide behind a mask.
That's the main theme here, truly, is when you're talking about role models, it is about your own personal truth. A lot of times we use outside sources to define ourselves because either we want permission to be that way, or we want permission to behave a certain way or avoid certain things. So in other words, if somebody's behaving badly and they're, quote, a role model, they're famous or infamous or however way you want to look at it, you have to look at that and look at yourself. And if you're that influenced by that individual, you have to also ask yourself the question, is that me? Is that individual representing me? Or am I wanting to be that person because that's the person that I want to be? A lot of times these influencers, it's funny. I really actually can't stand that word. Not the word in general. I can't stand that title for people on how do you become an influencer? By the definition, our Western standard definition, it's like you become an influencer by, like you said, the amount of people, that the popularity. It's a
That's all it
popularity
is.
contest. And a lot of these influencers, to me, don't have a lot of insight that I feel is really noteworthy. When I look at, it's funny, I'll go on a YouTube and I'll click on some of the people that I really like that have a real positive uh, emphasis, or they put a real positive spin on things or they produce positive energy for the world. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll go on there and then I will look to see how many followers they have on YouTube. And then I'll go on to some stupid thing that kids watch or something like that. And I'm blown away at the amount of followers they have.
Why?
And they're not I'm blown away only in the sense that
No, not why you're blown away. The
oh no, I'm blown
content,
away.
right? Why do people watch stupid things? Is what I'm
Right.
asking you. Why do you
Yeah,
think you're driven to that?
because they don't, it's easier that way. You
It's
don't have to
easy.
think, you don't have to, right, exactly. There's this one girl that my little one watches, and I've watched the stuff with her. The girl's funny, she's funny. She's one of those people that just literally, they do a montage of things. She watches them, she comments, she's funny with her comments. But that's all this girl does. And she makes millions of dollars doing it. She's only, I would say, probably in her late 20s, maybe mid 20s, no judgment. You do your business as you want to do. But my daughter, when she watches this, gets nothing from it. It is just, and it's solely entertainment. When I look at people like Mel Robbins, or Brene Brown, and I look at the amount of followers they have. Brene Brown has a lot of followers just because she's put out so much more. But even Mel Robbins, it's like they don't have even near the followers this other girl has, But yet what they put out is just so much more. It's richer. It's information that can be life-changing to you. So nothing wrong with entertainment. Nothing at all.
It
I
is
don't.
when they're guiding it. All these entertainments that's luring in these young kids is so that they stay asleep. When you have Brene Brown and the other one you said, um, because now you got to work. Good morning, Natasha Tubman. Now you got to work. What is the thing when you and I have our meetings that I tell you that people tell me when I'm speaking, they don't want to wake up. They don't want to hear things that I'm saying because then they're truths they must face. And when you
Correct.
face your truth, then change has to follow. It's going to uproot the life that you thought it's what you wanted. So Brene Brown does speak magical stuff. And, people want the easy street, and the easy streets leads to the ghettos. And the ghettos are the bottom part of your mind where you can get in a blow up tub and just go down the lazy river and just accept things as they are without you putting any effort into it. Okay, if people say, well, what do you mean easy? Who wants to work? Okay, I am the way, the truth, and the light. That said Jesus. To follow Jesus, you're going to face a lot of obstacles. You're going to have bumpy roads. Your roads aren't going to be paved. The grass is going to be growing knee high, and you got to struggle through it. But you're working it. You're building that muscle mass. You're building that endurance in your mind. You're walking and you're being more focused on who you are and what you're capable of. So when you get to the flatlands, you understand what you have to do. Easy ways, the devil's like, you just come with me, I'll give you everything you want, all the riches, all the fame, blah, blah, blah. You got to figure it out. What you got to do, what you got to just sign right here, not thinking of the end result. Plan your life. It is the one life you have. Life is short, but it is the longest journey you will travel. So when you listen to Brene Brown, you're going to be faced with, oh my God, do I got to change? Do I got to stop doing this? Should I follow my instincts and leave this job because I'm so unhappy and it's pouring into my skin is deteriorating, my body aches. Those are challenges that people try to avoid when hearing the truth about life as you should have it, because then change has to take effect. And badass, how many people have you met who have 50 million excuses to one change that they should assert themselves to, that's going to change the whole trajectory of their life?
Yep.
How
I was
many?
one of them. I meet them all the time. I was one of them.
And it's hard because, look in the mirror. You have made it this far. I don't care how old you are and you're listening. You made it this far because you have a purpose. So you might still be in training wheels. You might have graduated to button and zipper pants. I don't know where you are in your life right now, but you're here for a reason. So stop pussyfooting around. Stop trying to find
Oh
the
my
easy
God, I
way.
haven't heard that expression in so long. My mother always used to say that.
My mother
Just
too.
put
And
around.
those were my role models, no matter how messed up in the brain they were. But it was because of their weaknesses that I am the strong woman today, that I don't give a shit whether I'm liked or not, whether I'm understood
Exactly.
or not.
I
I've always lived my life that way. And the thing is, I falter, I'm trilingual, English, Spanish, and profanity. If you piss me off, you get all three of them at the same time. And I don't care where we are. How people are like, oh, wait till we get home. No, you act up right here, then right here, you're going to get it. That's always been my way. Some people have been turned off. I don't care. People are like, oh, you always curse. And what the fuck's the problem? Because I am not. Someone said the other day, smoke is not good for you. And I said, neither is not minding your business. I say that all the time too, because how dare you? I don't know you. You're going to come and tell me what's not good for me? Well, I'm going to tell you what's not good for you. There's no waiting. I'm not carrying anybody else's energy when they
yeah,
say something to me
yeah.
that does not resonate with me, that does not fit in with me. And we have to learn how to do that. And that way, we are not constantly made to take detours in our lives. And we can love the role model that we probably are to the masses and haven't realized it because we haven't introduced ourselves to ourselves. And that I'm more about you being your own role model, so that when you're taking every step, it's like that energy. Think of your aura as beautiful, soft pink vibes just coming out of you,
Mm.
and it landing on those that you need to touch, because everything's predestined. So love yourself, trust yourself. The badass Buddha have made some decisions lately that have been like, that need balloons and the little crazy things going out and about. Because when you make decisions on your own that's going to be fruitful for your tomorrow, that is a miracle. That is a blessing. Be the blessing in your life. I don't do anything unless I pray, because my God is important. I believe in Jesus Christ. As crazy as that may seem to people, but that's how I live my life. I praise God all the time. He gets the praise every morning before good morning, Margarita, because he puts that breath in me to start my day, to love myself. So whatever it is you're grateful for, do it every morning. And no matter what happens throughout the day, you're going to be able to handle it, because you started your day with gratitude for having the life to have a new day, and kindness in your heart because you love who you are, that you got yourself out of bed. It's that simple. Stop trying to go through all these damn workshops and listen to 50 million podcasts. Look in the mirror. Take the shortcut to yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm done.
And you have to, and you're right. It's sitting down with yourself, taking the time and asking yourself those questions and being honest and writing them, like I said, like Gail said, she hasn't had a role model in a really long time. And I'm on the total opposite. For me, like I could find role models in every single person in some way, shape, or form. They don't have to be 100% a role model for me. I look at it that I see something and I look at it, I just, from a outside perspective, is there something I like about that person? Does it align with how I believe, who I believe myself to be and my values? And then what can I mirror that? I don't want to copy them. I don't want to be them. I'm just mirroring it and making it me. It's just a reminder. And I always think about it that it is the divine giving me that insight, to that vision, to be able to see that. It could, like I said, it could be a real person, it could be a character in a show, but when I see something in there that I resonate with and I connect with, I want to see, okay, how could I make that? I love that about that person. How could I make that work for me? And it's based on me having understood that who I am, what my values are, what my beliefs are, what is really important to me. Screw all the years that I have put everybody else's, well, I should like this, or I'll follow this, or do that. I never once asked myself, what is it that I want? What is important to me? Until a few years ago. And even to this day, I still sometimes struggle with this. And I have to take that step back and say, this is nobody's life but mine. So you
Amen.
started it this way, Gladiator Guru, and we'll end it this way. Your biggest role model, first and foremost, the top of your list, needs to be you.
All day.
And if you can't look at yourself and say, I'm inspiring myself, then you have got to take that deep dive in, and you have got to work on yourself, and you've got to figure out what it is that is not inspiring for yourself. Like what is about you that's not inspiring you, and fix it.
Fix it.
Fixable. Doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your life is like right now. You fix it. But it takes that moment of just identifying it and holding space for yourself to allow it to be present, even if you don't freaking like it. And then say, I don't like this about myself. What the hell am I going to do about this? What can I change? And this is,
you know what you got to change? Your honesty. Your honesty.
Start.
Thank you for saying that. She's so right. What can I change? Ask yourself. That was beautiful. Because that's the only question you got to ask yourself whenever you're in doubt. Well, what can I change? What do I need to add? What do I need to delete? I'm sorry if I cut you off, beautiful. But I love that.
You did.
I love that. It's that simple. Why do we make everything so difficult? From November through March. And if you live in a full season area, it's going to snow. Accept it. It's going to be cool till the end of April, maybe into May. Accept it. August is always the hottest fucking month of the season. You got to accept it. Accept who you are, and then you can make changes. Don't go in making changes without realizing or knowing who you are in totality.
That's the truth, because
and
you will.
Just like the badass Buddha says, she has many role models. Not that she likes everything about them, but there's certain things about them that she can extract from that has made a difference for her. That's how you are to yourself. See, she can't change Oprah, but she can take from Oprah what she saw value in and what made her feel good.
That's correct.
That's what we need to learn. What do you do not like about yourself? Be raw. If you're raw with the things you don't like about yourself, then you can work. You can start the preparation of change. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's the beauty of being grateful and carrying kindness and doing it with intention. And that's the month of November.
Yes.
And Gail said she always puts her hand over her heart.
Yes. I put that up before.
Remember to love myself. Yes. And let me tell you something. When you hug, there's actually people, Exactly, Arlene. You cannot make changes until you really know yourself, but there has to be a starting point, and then you know what's the most courageous thing you can do in your life, look, badass?
What?
You can look at yourself, know that there's changes that got to be done, and then challenge yourself to start with an end date. Don't leave it half-assed, because then that's how you will live your life, half-assed. That's the truth. That's the honest truth. Do you want to be a person who has lived a half-assed life, or one that saw a challenge and took it, and if it didn't work out the first time, they challenged themselves again? And it's just like you going to work for somebody else who posts your schedule. You got to dedicate those 8 hours to them whenever they decide to give you the day off or not, and you show up and you eat lunch when they tell you to, and you come home when they tell you to. Do that in your own life. Dedicate that type of routine, that type of gumption into your own life, because I am. Because, boy, let me tell you, but back to Gail. Yes, Gail. I hug people, and sometimes I forget because I get excited, and they remind me because I taught them. When you hug somebody, just like you hold your hand to your heart, you hug them heart to heart. It's uncomfortable at first, because normally, why is it badass? When we go to hug somebody, we automatically raise our right arm and we go this way. So our left arm is under their right arm when we're hugging them, or on their right side when we're facing them.
Oh no.
So when you try it today, everybody who is on today, Arlene, go hug Darlene, but go this way where you're putting your heart on their heart. That is a hug, a heart to heart. That's touching base with humanity. That's a true hug.
Hmm.
You hug them and you feel their warmth. Why? Because the heartbeat plays music. It's music. And music is life. And laughter is my favorite song. So I am constantly dancing. There you go. The rock. I love that rock.
I
Do
do
it.
too.
Do it. The heart is not just this medical phenomena. The heart is where we hold love, where
Yes, it is.
change happens. It
Yes, it
happens in
is.
the heart, not the mind. Because you can think of a million things, but if your heart don't say, get off your ass and let's do this, you're not going to do it. It's just going to be a thought, an idea.
Right. That's
But
right.
remember, just think about it. What makes you get up to do something? The passion in your heart. I know we ran, oh my God, we went over, but this was phenomenal. What the Iris and my client Zet says hi. Hi, Zet.
Yeah, the spiritual center.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's the
Mhm.
core. It's the
Yep.
core. People forget that the key to life we hold within.
And when the heart is not in alignment with the brain, that's when we really falter. We insist on always using our brain for everything and separating the heart, and they have to be in alignment with each other. And that is proven with the Institute of Heart Math. They've proven this with the research that they've done. So,
You know what I love about us before we go is that you're always with the research and scientifically, and I'm always with feeling, with spiritual feeling. And I love that balance that we hold, because people like to hear science stuff. And I'm always going to talk either out my ass or from my heart, however
but
you.
that's why you would love Heart Math, because they're the ones that are researching it in both elements, and you would also love Greg Braden, because that's what that human by design, that's what Greg Braden does. And he melds both of those, which is really cool.
But
But
yeah, because science is nothing without spirit, and scientists swear
absolutely
there's
can't
nothing.
separate them.
They
Mm-mm.
can't. And remember, mi gente, you gotta feed your spirit, nurture your ego, love your bodies where it's at right now. Love it with all the rolls or with the firmness, however your body is. You know, love it. And it will love you back, and it will start to form into what it truly was born to do. And unfuck your brain. Get rid of all those negative thoughts. Science is proving spirit. And it's so funny because it was spirit who created science. And the people are still stuck on science. It's spirit. Spirit created science. Spirit in the people who became scientists, who led the road, paved the road for all the scientists that are today, was spirit. There's, we have to prove science, not spirit.
Are we ready
Yes.
Thank you for staying on longer. We appreciate it.
Yes, I love you, Zaw. Gail, thank you. And
We will
thank
have
you, Arlene.
Danessa, is it Paco? How do you pronounce her last?
Pacheco?
Pacheco. I just wrote it wrong. She'll be here on Thursday as our guest, our role model guest. And think about this. Just put a pen in hand and think about who inspires you, who's been an inspirational role model to you in some way, shape, or form. And if they're still living, tell them thank you. Let them be that part of your gratitude list, that where you actually tell the person thank you. And if it's somebody famous, just say it out loud. Or, you could always comment on one of their things and just say, thank you, I'm grateful for you. And that's it. They will probably respond back, but that's okay, So anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming on. We really appreciate you. We're very grateful for our tribe as always. We just love all of you very much. And we're very happy that you are here sharing your mornings with us.
Yes.
You ready, Gladiator Guru?
Yes.
All right. From the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.